love, happiness. But what about a cultural phenomenon?
You have one chance in life to be a part of something.
Did anyone here even watch OG
FaZe Clan is
Viz?
the spark that ignited a generation, dominated the internet, united strangers, and forged an unstoppable movement. But where there's lightning, there's always someone trying to put it in a bottle.
It is disastrous, and it only continues to get worse.
The downfall of FaZe was one fueled by greed, a corporate takeover led by a mysterious figure quietly lurking in the shadows.
This guy's whispering in my ear like, your life's gonna change forever, you're gonna be a millionaire, this and that.
A never-ending game of divide and conquer, cat and mouse.
I will never be like you. I will never take a check. And it's so sad some of y'all are taking checks and deals.
A revolving door of billionaires, royalty, suits with more money than God forced their way in, planted their flags, and claimed the logo as their own.
Wait a minute. I know, one pause. I know, you can count them, it's fine.
Forced their way in,
Look at this,
planted their flags, and claimed
Look, I was right here.
the logo
You could see me somewhere here. I'm here somewhere. I don't know where.
as their own. But there was just one problem. Money doesn't buy what a logo represents. Growing up in the early 2000s was simple. It was an era of flip phones, shopping malls, and movie rentals. But if there was one thing that stuck with me the most from my childhood, it was that those video games were gonna rot my brain.
Dude, I had a BlackBerry.
From finding my first diamond in Minecraft to screen cheating in Halo and even establishing a crippling gambling addiction at the age of 10, video games completely consumed my childhood. Now, I'll be the first to admit, gaming wasn't considered cool back then. Honestly, most people just thought it was made for nerds. But then someone jumped off a crane, spun around 3 times mid-air, and trick-shotting was born.
Oh my god!
As YouTube exploded in the late 2000s, and blockbuster titles like MW2 and Black Ops took over like wildfire, a new wave of gamers emerged. And at the forefront of this revolution was a group of friends who weren't just playing the game, they were breaking it.
You could say MW2, it's not.
FaZe wasn't necessarily about winning matches. They were about creating moments, the kind that you couldn't ignore. Instead of focusing on objectives like capturing flags or planting bombs, FaZe members were in the lobby for one reason: trick shots.
The Black Ops series was the best.
Every trick shot was a performance, and FaZe turned these performances into art. Their iconic ill cam montages sync perfectly with music, transform simple kill cams into viral phenomena. These videos weren't just highlights, they were cultural statements. And every last detail was so effortlessly perfect.
When it was to like be asked to join FaZe back then,
I cried.
No contracts, no anything. Like, it wasn't even a question. If you played Call of Duty during that time, your dream in life was to join FaZe.
What started as 3 guys playing video games and making videos quickly became one of the most exclusive status symbols in all of gaming. With members across the globe and thousands dreaming of being invited, being a part of FaZe meant you were somebody. You sat at the hypothetical cool kids table of the gaming world. Now, for most, that's what it would stay. Just a random sequence of 4 letters and a gamer tag.
I'm pausing it. I don't care what anyone says. The Xbox 360 was so ahead of the PS3, I don't care. Xbox 360 was the best console, without a doubt.
But for a select group, they would decide to take this opportunity and run with it.
It was.
What's up, guys? My name is FaZe Temper, and this is the FaZe and G Fuel House.
Founding members Temper, Apex, Rain, and Banks made a pivotal decision to transform their passion into a legitimate business. They split equity equally among themselves, each taking 25%, and began laying the foundation for what would become a viral empire.
So I'm here with Richard Banks, my new roommate.
They decided to take the Xbox parties into real life, moving into a house together in New York.
So I'm gonna be moving from California to New York. Yeah, this is not something I really planned on doing.
The New York house wasn't about calculated moves. It was a natural evolution that I think just about every guy ever has gone through. And by sharing a space, they created this environment where creativity thrived, and their synergy was captured in every piece of content.
Yellow dude sitting in metal chair.
I love that so much.
That is a classic.
No!
Without even realizing it, they pioneered the Content House model. Team 10, Hype House, and countless others would later replicate this formula, all creating...
FaZe was the first, huh? Who was before FaZe? Sidemen wasn't before FaZe, was it?
...carbon copies of this exact strategy. The Content House model works so well because each person acts as a character in the other's vlogs. It's a way to cross-pollinate audiences. If one member succeeds, everyone succeeds. And my god, did FaZe Clan blow up during this era.
Damn.
By
Fortnite
2018,
World
FaZe
Cup.
Clan was at its zenith. They had become the face of gaming culture and one of the most recognizable brands on the internet. Hollywood Hills mansions, supercars, sponsorship deals, and a never-ending stream of viral content painted a picture of unstoppable success. Yet, just beneath the surface, a slow poison was spreading. Lavish spending, strained relationships, and the relentless pursuit of
Oh, right there! Look at me! I was told to be there.
issue. Somewhere in the shadows, a mystery man began to emerge.
One of the first guys that came into the company, and I can't name names because I'll get sued. It's just annoying.
Like the ESPN documentary, it's like missing the most important like how we even lost the
So
company.
you
Nobody
caused a
talked
fall
about it.
off. Are you dumb?
Sebastian Gertz is a businessman from Norway, who's a bit of a
this?
virtual ghost on the internet. Outside of a few inactive social media accounts, and a blog post from 2009 that claims that Sebastian was a common fake flexer at Stockholm nightclubs, there was honestly very little I could find about his personal persona. But I did notice a bit of a recurring pattern in his corporate strategy. There's dozens of registered companies under his name that filed for corporation, and subsequently filed for bankruptcy a few years down the road. Now, in 2014, Sebastian started a company called Hubrik. Hubrik was a social media platform, one that was meant to rival Twitter to be the next Facebook. It was pitched as the next big app to dominate the internet, but instead, it was just the first domino to fall in the collapse of FaZe Clan.
This video is informative. All statements and opinions with their base.
The saga of Hubrik and FaZe Clan starts back in June of 2015, when Sebastian Gertz reached out to FaZe founder Temper to discuss how he could break into the esports industry. And shortly after, both Temper and Banks were on the next flight out
This
to
is
Norway.
the guy that put Adapt in the hospital?
Whatever was said in those early meetings must have left an impression, because over the next several months, Banks and Temper made repeated trips back, first to Norway, then to Berlin, and then to London where Hubrik had satellite offices. Each visit seemed to solidify their connection, with Sebastian playing the perfect host, parading them around Europe, showing them the sights, and immersing them in his world. Slowly but surely, he gained their trust. And once he had it, he started planting seeds. Casual conversations turned into deep discussions about the future of FaZe, about its potential, about how it could evolve beyond trick shots and Call of Duty montages. He positioned himself as a guide, someone with business acumen to elevate FaZe to new heights. As the months went on, the meetings became more serious, plans were being drawn, ideas exchanged, but always behind closed doors. FaZe members would tease something big.
Banks looks like a pussy. I would knock the shit out of you, bro. Bro, you're lucky you low-key got buff and you look better now, bro. Because I'm not gonna lie, if I was your age right here, bro, I would have picked on you like a little boy. I would have bullied your little ass, bro.
Dropping cryptic messages online about what's to come.
So where are you guys going? Tell the Blurg where you guys are going. Tell them about FaZe Banks' exciting trip. Oh, is it a secret?
Then in January 2016, for the first time, all 4 of FaZe's founding members flew to Norway to meet with Sebastian. From the outside, it looked like a victory, an initiation into something larger. And just days later, FaZe made it official. According to Sebastian, Hubrik had invested $1.3 million into FaZe Clan to help them grow, and with that money came a new direction. The first major move? A complete rebrand. FaZe 2.0, an era that promised higher production value, bigger ambitions, and an esports push unlike anything they'd done before.
I was posting some tweets about it yesterday, and we were talking about how we're changing.
This is what Black Ops 3 used to look like, and we played this shit? There's no way it was this ugly.
Yesterday, and we were talking about how we're changing production. Like, the production of our videos is going to immensely increase this year.
And that push started with their most significant acquisition yet, the purchase of the CSGO team, a move that redefined the esports landscape and cemented FaZe as a global powerhouse. From the perspective of the FaZe guys, Sebastian was nothing short of a wizard. In a matter of just months, he had taken their wildest ambitions and turned them into reality. Securing funding, making connections, and pulling the strings behind the scenes like it was second nature. So why wouldn't they trust him?
I blame Grace.
In early 2017, FaZe Clan had fully settled into California, and with that came a major shift. FaZe wasn't just a group of gamers anymore, it was a business. Sebastian introduced a corporate structure designed to take the
Banks wearing a V-neck with hair coming out of his chest is
business.
fucking sick. Yo!
Introduced a corporate structure designed to take the pressure off of the founders, letting them focus on what they did best, making videos while the executives handled the rest. Leading the charge was Lee Trink, a music industry veteran best known for launching Katy Perry's career. He wasn't a gamer,
I didn't even know that!
but he knew how to build brands and turn cultural moments into business empires. With Trink and his team,
am I in this?
Cultural moments into business empires.
Oh my god, what the is Kason wearing on his head?
With Trink and his team securing deals and partnerships, FaZe was scaling faster than ever. Their newly hired chief creative officer had even locked in a production deal, greenlighting 2 TV-level series in the FaZe Cast and FaZe Full Throttle. But there was just one problem: money. The $1.3 million from Hubrik was running out fast. Sebastian needed a new investor. Michael Stang Treshow, son of Millie Marie Treshow, and the 7th generation heir to the Treshow family fortune, with a $4 billion net worth in 2020, chairman of the Norwegian conglomerate Treshow Fritzo, living in the single largest private residence in the entire country of Norway.
Wait, I just realized I'm on sub only?
And the car collection of all of our dreams, by all means, Michael Treshow.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Duck chicken head me.
Treshow is him.
What is that emo?
According to a few
What is
Norwegian-based
really
blog
mad?
sites that I've loosely translated into English, Gertz and
sorry.
Treshow actually seem to go way back. I couldn't pinpoint exactly when or where they met, but in the spring of 2017, Sebastian began pitching Treshow on the future of the internet. Hubert. And the pitch looked something like this. In a lawsuit filed in 2018, Treshow alleged that Gertz provided him with a pitch deck, one that outlined the capabilities of his app, such as online shopping, the ability to book events and travel, and even downloading and watching movies produced by Hubert's partners,
Who the fuck
Warner
uses
Brothers,
Hubert?
Sony Pictures, Paramount, and even
Don't even say
the app
me,
was
'cause
to be
y'all are
state of the
lying
art.
if you
The
say you use
technology
that.
that it was built
What the fuck
upon
is
was
a
worth tens of
Hubert?
millions of dollars.
Yeah, there
Even
y'all
with
go.
no active users, if they sold, they'd still sell at a profit. And Treshow bit, signing a check for $2.115 million on the spot.
No, if I built a business today, do you think people would invest in me? I don't know, I'm asking a bunch of children.
Sebastian's ambitions were set much higher than just a few $1 million. Maybe it was delusion, or maybe he was truly evil, but in July 2017, he coordinated a meeting between himself, Lee Trink, Treshow, and 2 founding FaZe members, Rain and
Yo, I was biting a nail, and I laughed, and I inhaled it to the back of my throat.
Temper. He pitched the group on a joint merger. The idea was hypothetically bulletproof. You had the most innovative app idea to rival Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You had the billionaire to write the blank checks.
Yo, what the fuck
and you had
happened
the
to
face of
Threads?
mainstream
Does
social
anyone use
media to
Threads?
lead users to the app like moths to a flame. Everyone was in. Screw making a couple $1 million off of YouTube AdSense, the members of FaZe were ready to be the next Zuckerberg. Over the next year, Michael Treshow threw millions at Hubert like they were fun coupons. He even believed in this vision so much that he wrote a term sheet saying if the app picked up, Sebastian would get half of his equity in FaZe. Members of FaZe worked alongside the development team to help make this app the best it could be. Sebastian brought in herds of new advisors, created a separate company that would represent the management side of FaZe Clan, and brought in Greg Selko, founder of Wanderset, and they created a joint venture called W8WS that would handle all of the merchandising for FaZe Clan.
Ew.
FaZe Clan was at their pinnacle. Views were at an all-time high, and merch was selling like a god church. And in summer of 2018, the merger was signed and set into stone. Banks, Temper, Apex, and Rain turned in their share of FaZe, and Return received shares of Hubert. The offices were conjoined, bank accounts were shared, everything was operating under one roof. And that's when everything went straight to f***ing shit.
Life goes up and down, and the world can be a dark, sad place sometimes. You guys are responsible for bringing light into your own bubble. You keep that up. I've been fighting and grinding hard too, and yesterday we wrapped up the last funding also. So next month we take over absolute all operations.
Yo, you know what the thing about this is? This is kind of dark, but I don't know if anyone agrees with this. Bro, I'm gonna be real. I strongly believe that karma is real, and terrible people like this will get very bad things in their life. I'm talking like crazy bad things will happen to them in their life. You can't run away from forever. Being a bad person, it only gets you so far in life. I'm gonna be honest.
The start has been great,
Something
but it's just the
always
beginning.
happens.
Hubert, the company they had
Soon,
entrusted
bro.
their expansion to, was nothing more than smoke and mirrors. It wasn't a groundbreaking tech startup, it was a half-built platform with no traction,
Yo,
no
Trump, shut up.
partnerships, and no future. The deeper they dug, the clearer it became. Sebastian Gertz, the man they placed their faith in, had sold them a dream built on lies. Then came the ultimate betrayal. Gertz allegedly forged signatures on the key term sheet, effectively stealing Treshow's shares, and declaring himself the single largest stakeholder in FaZe Clan. The realization hit like a gut punch. FaZe wasn't just in a bad business deal, they had been
Isn't that
outright
illegal?
deceived. What followed was nothing short of a corporate coup. One by one, those who had once stood by Gertz turned against him. FaZe's leadership, its investors, even the executives he had installed, all joined forces to push him out. And when they did, it wasn't a quiet departure, it was a total eradication. Reports surfaced of FaZe members storming Hubert offices, shutting down systems, changing passwords, freezing bank accounts.
How does this YouTuber get all this info? What if he's a part of this and we have no clue?
Seizing back control of what was theirs. The house of cards collapsed overnight. Allegations of corporate espionage, fraud, and financial mismanagement flooded the legal system. Lawsuits erupted on all sides. FaZe sued Hubert, Hubert sued back, and the entire mess unraveled into a legal war zone that would take years to clean up. For a while, FaZe kept the chaos under wraps, but then another betrayal sent shockwaves through the community. Only this time, FaZe wasn't the victim. They were the villains. Tfue, one of FaZe's biggest stars, dropped a lawsuit that rocked the industry. He wasn't just calling out a bad deal, he was lifting the curtain on exploitive contracts, unfair revenue splits, and FaZe was suddenly exposed as the very thing they once stood against.
Tfue is suing FaZe Clan! I'm gonna be real with you. This is very weird.
What is in this contract is so bizarre. It's so
To understand what happened here, you have to understand Hollywood. It's a city built on hype and illusions, where fame is currency and exploitation is the business model. We've seen it happen to child actors, YouTube stars, TikTok influencers. Young talent gets plucked from obscurity, handed a contract, and before they know it, they don't own a single thing. FaZe was supposed to be different, but Turner's lawsuit shattered that facade. The brand was hemorrhaging trust. Despite Hubert's deception about their app's viability, FaZe settled the debacle outside.
signed a FaZe deal and has a 100% easy clap. Not wrong, bro. I sold a FaZe deal and I'm good.
Court, conceding 15% of the company's equity to Sebastian. In doing so, they weren't just relinquishing shares. They were surrendering a piece of their very identity. The 4 letters that were once worn like a badge of honor in gamer tags now felt like a walk of shame. What once symbolized dreams, brotherhood, and a new era of gaming had become a punchline. The founders spoke openly about it, how wearing the logo felt like carrying the weight of a failed promise.
I couldn't even wear this logo for years, you know what I mean? And just like, I was like ashamed of it, embarrassed about it.
So they did what many do when their world collapses.
Does anybody have FaZe stocks?
They numbed it. Drugs, alcohol, reckless spending. It wasn't a party, it was an escape.
Yo, Mickey! Are you serious? Come on, like, I know it's a waste of money, but doesn't that look fire?
And while the founders spiraled, the boardroom tightened its grip. New executives took the reins. Old ones were phased out. Lee Trink became CEO, and without the founders there to fight for it, FaZe Clan was left in the wrong hands. The new leadership had a vision. FaZe was a media empire, and
this Tammy girl was a scam artist. See, that's what I'm saying. She's gonna come back around you, bro. I'm telling you.
esports was their rocket ship. They pitched it like 2010 Bitcoin. Get in early, and when this thing explodes, you'll be worth billions. The stats were staggering. Over 350 million followers across the roster. A direct pipeline to Gen Z.
Was a Gen Z company. Gen Z for Gen Z.
More social engagement than the Lakers, Yankees, or Cowboys. The hype was undeniable, and investors lined up with their checkbooks in hand.
Allegedly?
Lee Trink tapped into his music industry connections, bringing in heavy hitters like Jimmy Iovine, the Beats by Dre mastermind. A $40 million Series A funding round followed, with names like Ray J, Sway Lee, Nigel Houston, and Pitbull throwing in their chips.
Dale.
With millions in fresh funding, FaZe went all in. A sprawling 33,000 square foot headquarters, new esports rosters in Valorant, Rocket League, Apex Legends, and even PUBG Mobile. High-profile celebrity signings in Bronny James, Snoop Dogg, Offset, Juju Smith-Schuster, and then the biggest leak yet, FaZe was going public. Through a merger with B. Riley Principal Group, they announced they'd be the first gaming org on the NASDAQ. From the outside, FaZe had arrived. The first esports org to hit the stock market. Millions in funding, celebrity partnerships, mainstream crossovers, they had won.
I know I was right there.
Or so it seemed. Behind the scenes, the executives were cashing in. While the brand expanded, the C-suite was quietly padding their pockets, approving lucrative bonuses and compensation packages stuffed with equity, voiding settlement agreements, operating without input from majority shareholders. They weren't focused on building FaZe's future. They were focused on extracting as much value as possible before the inevitable collapse. FaZe Clan's stock market debut seemed like an overwhelming success. The share price, which opened just above $10, skyrocketed to a peak of $23.37 by August 31st, an impressive surge in just under a month. Reality came crashing down when FaZe released its Q3 financial statements nearly a month later, and investors began to see through the smoke and mirrors. The report revealed a jaw-dropping $130 million operating loss. As soon as shareholders saw the financial mess FaZe had gotten itself into, panic set in. Investors, realizing the company was essentially bleeding itself dry, ran for the exits. The stock price didn't just dip, it collapsed, plummeting over 95% over the next few months, and eventually bottomed out at just 14 cents per share. This wasn't just a case of overvaluation, it was a complete loss of confidence. Once the reality of FaZe's mismanagement became clear, even potential investors wanted nothing to do with them. The company had gone from a promising stock market darling to a cautionary tale of financial recklessness all within a few months.
I just wanted to say thank you all for joining us here today at the funeral service for FaZe Clan. They had a great run, one of the biggest orgs in all of esports, gaming in general, really. and now they're buried 6 feet under.
But when the stock was finally delisted and the last corporate stronghold collapsed, it didn't mark the end. It marked the moment that FaZe was up for grabs. And that's when the real threat appeared. The boardroom might have been empty, but the sharks were already moving in. Investors, holding companies, billionaires who saw FaZe as a lifeless asset waiting to be repurposed. Another esports org to buy, another brand to flip, another cash cow. The founders had seen this play before.
Dozens of people came in, to your point, got equity, they cashed out.
These people are all writing their own deals and the ones kind of behind the scenes making everything happen, right? They don't give a about us at the end of the day. It's all about money for them.
They could roll over again, let someone else take control, and watch FaZe be rebuilt in someone else's image, or they could fight.
This FaZe is a movie. And I don't know how it ends yet, but it's a movie.
This wasn't going to be a passive fight. This wasn't some half-hearted attempt to regain control. This was war. And if FaZe's enemies had taught them anything, it was how to play dirty.
I feel like these overcomplicated it for a long time. I'm done being told no.
For years, suits had come in, stripped the company for parts, exploited the name, and milked the fans dry. Now, Banks was taking a page out of their own book. No politics, no negotiations, just absolute destruction.
If you don't with this vision, if you're not in line with this, see you at the top.
He wiped the entire slate clean. Dozens of members kicked. Contracts, torched, socials, blank, the logo, the brand, everything went silent for months. FaZe wasn't dying, it was shedding its skin.
We're turning the chapter and we're doing new
This wasn't about nostalgia, this wasn't about fixing what was broken, this was about burning the whole thing down and rebuilding it from the ashes.
There's a lot of things that are gonna happen, a lot of changes that are coming.
For years, people said FaZe was over. They said it could never be what it once was. But the thing about FaZe, it doesn't die. It can't be bought.
No matter how much money you have, you can't buy what we created.
It's not a stock price, it's not a balance sheet, it's not a marketing play. It's an idea, a legacy, a culture. And no matter how many times you try to kill it, it always finds a way to crawl back out of the pit. When the reboot was finally announced, Banks pulled from the original playbook. The new roster wasn't rebuilt with A-list celebrities or recycled esports veterans. There was no overpriced signing spree or desperate attempt to buy relevance. Instead, they went back to their roots, picking up real grinders, the ones who actually wanted to be there. Blackboy Max, Silky, Jason the Ween, Stable Ronaldo, and Lacey. A mix of names no one had ever even heard of.
So
different backgrounds, different styles, different platforms. And at first, fans were skeptical. After years of watching their childhood heroes get swallowed by sponsorships, boardroom deals, and soulless branding, trust wasn't given. It had to be earned.
What the is that sorry-ass new FaZe Clan lineup, man? Who the are these people?
But then something changed. The streams continued to roll in, and month-long subathons blurred the line between entertainment and obsession. Viral clips dominated every algorithm. A content machine began running hotter, faster, and hungrier than anything FaZe had touched in years. With the numbers skyrocketing and a new fan base growing, suddenly it all felt real again. Not a marketing ploy, not a nostalgia trip, just a group of creators who actually loved this who weren't here for a paycheck, weren't here to coast off of the name, but were here to build something real.
I remember this day.
Yeah, thank you for the 50 C-Dog.
Jason, I got you a taco!
FaZe wasn't for sale anymore. They shut down the stores. They ripped the brand deals off of their streams. They walked away from millions on purpose. This wasn't about squeezing every dollar out of the brand. This was about earning respect again and creating the content that the fans actually wanted. The founders had been
This was a absolute. I don't care how cringe this is.
This was about earning respect again and creating the content.
This was insane. This was like the first time we were all, dude. I think Max was getting like 15,000 viewers. I was getting like 9,000 to 10,000. Jason was getting like 9,000, 10,000. Lacey was getting like 9,000, 10,000. Like, bro, and we had like people in the whole mosh pit just screaming our name. Yo, like, do you understand how insane this is? Like, bro.
Content that the fans actually wanted. The founders had been through the fire. They had trusted the wrong people. They had watched their creation be gutted from the inside out. And now they weren't just rebuilding FaZe, they were protecting it. Banks, Temper, Apex. They became the mentors they never had. The guides they so desperately needed when this journey first started. They reclaimed FaZe to answer the what-ifs. To see what could have been if the first domino hadn't fallen. Smothering that spark nearly a decade ago.
I'm in this position where, you know, I put my faith and trust in all the wrong people, it felt like, right?
Hey boys, how are you guys doing? I know you guys have been struggling a little bit lately, but I want to say that I'm really proud of you.
I'm at this rock bottom moment in my career where I was pilled on the fact that, yeah, like, you're gonna lose all control over this company. And
we're in now, it's full time, and I've hired almost 30 people to support you guys every single day.
the crossover and like the way the Venn diagram works with my dad and how much he loved this and his advice ringing through my head, trust yourself, trust your gut. There's going to be people trying to take this from you. Telling me and Tommy before we moved to New York.
Before it even happened.
And you think it's your dad being a dad, like, dude, shut the up. Like, we know what we're doing. It's not that serious. It's not that deep. We play Call of Duty, like, calm down. I'll never be able to fully come to terms with the fact that, like, that's the note that my dad had to leave on, was seeing, like, me in that tough spot, because he saw it. You know what I'm saying? It's horrible. Like, it's something that I'll never fully be able to, like, make sense. You know what I mean? But it was his favorite thing that's ever been created, and that's kind of what I'm doing it for. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that's what matters. The shit we're talking about right now, that is what matters. Like you said, it's what you leave behind. It's like, if I could help one kid accomplish that with his dad.
You want to say hi to my dad? Hey!
Papa, how are we? Like, you know what I mean? Not to get like
100-day party.
super like poetic or cliche about it, but like that is all I want. Like, that's all that I want for the rest of my life.
Your son is 20 out of 10. He is the best. He's one of the best people I've ever met my whole life. You did an amazing job. Thank you. I love you. I love you, man.
And I'll never not trust myself again. I'll never allow myself to get that close to somebody who doesn't give a about me or doesn't have the same vision, priorities, values as me. Ever again. I'll never allow it to happen. Ever again.
Damn. It's like a video.